Welcome to NEXTGames High Tier Mission Battlefield series. Today, covering the new battlefield of the Orbs Radiance. Now this battlefield offers very powerful new rewards that most will want, so similar to Maiden of Dusk and the Worm God, you may be spending a bit of time on this one, but fortunately the drop rate for all of the accessories is pretty good at any of the difficulties. So it's only the mask that you're going to need to grind runs to acquire, and you can do it on many jobs. This video is the third of many, showing strategies for how you can take on these runs with a variety of jobs. Now in today's video, I'll be showing how to take on the Cloud of Darkness with Red Mage, using only Enspell damage. Doing so will greatly simplify what you will encounter in your run, but also slow down your run substantially, normally with the runs taking near that 30-minute mark. Now this strategy can be used to solo all the way up to the normal difficulty if you are well geared enough with Red Mage. First though, let's go ahead and talk about what this fight looks like. Now this fight itself is against the Cloud of Darkness that has several abilities. Now Sealing Rapture is a conal ability that will do darkness damage, inflict max hit points down, bind you, and knock you back. Destitution is a conal ability that will inflict max hit points down and terrorize you. Essence Devour is another conal ability that will drain hit points and magic points from everyone that it hits, and will also give anyone it hits attribute down for 30 seconds. Now due to all of these conal abilities, you want to be sure to be facing the cloud away from your trust at all times. Now the final normal ability that you're going to see is called Shearing Undulation, which will inflict defense down and magic defense down on whoever it hits for 60 seconds, and it is an AoE ability. Now in addition to these abilities, the cloud doesn't attack with normal attacks. Instead, one of 3 special attacks will occur in each attack round. The first is an AoE damage and knockback ability. The second attack is a ranged attack, and the third is a special attack that will reduce the TP of anyone it hits by 25%. Now these attacks aren't much risk to you, but they will continually wipe your shadows and inflict damage to your trust if they are around and hit with it. So keep these things in mind when it comes to your strategy and positioning. The Cloud is also going to cast many spells, including Absorb Attribute spells, AoE Drain spells, and Elemental Magic spells. Now above 50%, it's going to be things like Elemental 4 Magic and Ga 3 spells, but under 50%, it's going to move up to Elemental 5 Magic, Ga 4 Magic, and Ja spells, which can be more dangerous, especially after Shearing Undulation lowers your magic defenses. Now once the Cloud reaches 80% health, he will use Primordial Surge, which drains hit points from all players and draws them into the boss. You just saw it used there. Now once he uses this, his eyes are going to start glowing, and he will start absorbing either all physical or magic damage. And you want to keep your standard melee attacks going after he uses this ability to see if they start to heal him. Now if those attacks don't start curing him, that means he's absorbing magic damage, so continue getting your damage in, being sure not to skill chain. Now if those standard melee attacks do start curing him, it means he's absorbing physical damage. You need to turn around immediately and wait for the use of his next ability, which will stop him absorbing damage, and it will also be signified when his eyes stop glowing. So wait till you see those eyes stop glowing before you turn back around again if he's absorbing physical damage. Now you can do magic damage if you have access to it while he's absorbing physical damage, or just kind of wait and use that time to rebuff yourself. Now one of the abilities that he has a chance to use once coming out of Primordial Surge is called Waning Vigor. Now this will inflict AoE damage based on how much damage he absorbed after the use of Primordial Surge. It's also going to imply weakness to anyone it hits, and it is an AoE ability once again. Now this can be a deadly move if you have cured him extensively during the Primordial Surge phase, so be sure to pay attention when those eyes start to glow. Now the second ability used after Primordial Surge is going to summon a random farmer ad, and each ability after that will continue to summon an additional ad until 6 have been summoned on the easy difficulty and 3 have been summoned on very easy. Now each job type of these farmers will have a different aura affecting anyone in the range of them. Fortunately, none of these auras will pose much of a risk to you other than 2. The first is the Dark Knights, whose aura will give you an encumbrance and lock you into the gear that you're presently in place with until he is defeated. Now if you happen to get locked into place to a gear set that you don't like, go ahead and run out of range from him for just a few seconds so that you can change into the gear set you do want, normally a TP gear set with high damage down, and then you can continue fighting him again where it's going to lock you back into that set. Now, the second farmer job type that you want to watch out for is Warrior. And that's because he's going to give you a strong attack penalty, making your weapon skills hit for a fraction of their potential damage, and making all the damage you do to both the main boss and any nearby farmers significantly less. So you want to take him out right away, right along with that Dark Knight if they happen to spawn. Now, under 25% health, the Cloud will also gain access to Expunge, which is an AoE ability that will strip all buffs from everyone it hits and will also inflict damage based on how much was absorbed during the last Primordial Surge phase. When this ability goes off, can create some of the riskiest times of the fight, so be ready for it under 25% health, and if it happens to you, try and buy yourself and your trust time to rebuff everyone. This includes putting up things like shadows or even kiting if necessary. So what kind of strategy do we use to take this one on? Well, first let's go over trust selection. I find that regardless of the job I use, this run is much easier if I'm tanking myself as opposed to using a tanking trust, as using them will often leave your trust in the way of many AoE abilities and possible conal abilities, and also they can't really control where it's facing, so you have to try and dictate that for them, which often doesn't really go very well. Additionally, they often die not even halfway through the run, again negating of their purpose of even being here. Therefore, I suggest you just plan on tanking this entire fight yourself. I recommend then using your Haste Cap Trust along with two solid healers, such as Yoran Oran and Monborough or Yoran Oran and Kupipi, and then using Sethtas to continually restore HP, MP, and TP to the party, since this fight can take quite a bit of time, especially if you intend on killing all of the farmers that spawn during your run. Now when the fight first starts, you want to pull the Cloud to the side in a space where you can get your damage in, and your trust can still heal and buff you, but still be out of the range of the conal abilities and many of the AoE attacks. You want to try and position yourself also so that if you get knocked back, you are still within attack range of the Cloud. Once you do this, get your damage in the best way you can. All forms of damage will do well, so everything from a 2-step skill chain spam to 5-step Radiant skill chain spam with Magic Burst will work well. I will say Savage Blade spam also works well in this run. You want to quickly take the boss past 80% health, and then keep getting damage in the best way you can during Primordial Surge, and the following ability. Now once you start summoning adds, you have a choice. You can choose to just keep blitzing your damage as quickly as you can in hopes that you can kill him before him and his army of adds overwhelm you, and the trust, or you can kill the adds as they spawn until all 3 or 6 of them are dead, and then just refocus on the Cloud and finish off the fight. Now if you're on the very easy difficulty, it's fairly easy to manage all 3 adds and finish off the boss before they take out any trust. But on easy, it can definitely be more challenging to deal with all 6 while finishing off that boss, and it carries much more risk. Now in today's example, we are using Red Mage to deny the Cloud of Darkness any TP. This means you will only see 2 abilities used by the Cloud of Darkness the entire run, and no adds will spawn at all if this is done correctly. First off, your trust selection is critical. You will need to be sure not to use any trust that can be the target of any of the enemy's attacks, as that will feed him TP and negate this strategy. Therefore, I use only passive buff trust to give myself some basic buffs such as Magic Attack and Magic Accuracy boost from Star Sybil, and Defense and Magic Defense boost from Bridget. Now in regards to gearing, you will need to be sure that you are dual wielding 1 damage daggers with a very low delay, and the rest of your gear should cap your damage reduction as well as provide at least 30 dual wield to cap your attack rounds when combined with haste. You then want to fully buff yourself, with the keys to success in this run being Enspell damage, Temper, Haste 2, and Stone Skin. You will want to use the best Magic Accuracy set to keep 4 Enfeebles on the boss at all times, which include Bio, Slow, Paralyze, and Silence. Now I have been unable to find a way to stick Frazzle reliably, but if you can manage it, that would also help substantially with your damage. Now with those buffs on, and your Enfeebles on the boss, you want to just let your Enspell damage from your melee attacks do all of the work. Your normal attacks should be hitting for 0 damage on all attack rounds. Now at 80% health, the boss is still going to use Primordial Surge even though he doesn't have TP. So if he chooses to absorb magic damage after that's used, you want to make sure that you turn around and keep your back turned until he uses the next ability, which will normally be about a minute after the use of Surge. Now once that second ability is used, you should not see any other abilities used for the remainder of the run. So rebuff and cure yourself depending on what ability was used, and get back to getting that damage in because time is of the essence. Being sure to keep all 4 Enfeebles on the boss at all times, and to keep yourself fully buffed with fresh Stone Skin at all times. This means canceling your own Stone Skin and recasting it every few attacks, being sure not to let the enemy get any TP from it wearing off. Now, I find that my present gearing and mastery level isn't quite high enough to complete this on the easy difficulty, with my normal runs on that difficulty finishing with the boss having about 10% health remaining. But I have seen others successfully use this strategy on as high as the normal difficulty, so if you find yourself having extra time at the end of your very easy wins, maybe give easy a try and see if you can step up a difficulty and increase your chances of a drop. Other than these techniques, all you need is a lot of patience in order to take this one on and not have to deal with any of those ads. I hope you found this third method helpful. I'll be releasing a fourth method using Dragoon to take this one on next week. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time.